Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And as I pull up the stream on my tablet, I want to go ahead and show you what I got here. This is a 2021 pack. There is a date code right there, the first digit indicating the year, and then the 204 means that this is packed on the 204th day of 2021. These are done by Sapaco. And then because there is no coffee option, I decided to bring out a French vanilla cappuccino. And I am going to initiate my replacement Mike Crusher Reviews mug. This one has a yellow interior, so it's actually a lot easier to see what is inside it. See, Prepper for the Ages has dropped in. I'm going to slit this one instead of trying to tear it. Because these bags can be notorious for not opening very cleanly. So here is the entree. Beef roast with vegetables. This is a solid one, meaning it is solidly good. These Halal MREs are snack heavy. And the first snack out is regular raisins. Santa Fe adobo mix. I actually like that one. And we got an actual dessert. Shelf-stable cinnamon bun by Bridgeford. Here is the accessory pack. These differ from the standard MREs and MCWs. And it went on the floor. The fruit and nut mix, so 2 fruit containing components in here. Tropical punch for the drinking jar. Have the FRH, which I do not use, but I save them. And then the last thing out of here is the sleeve that if you were to use the FRH, you put your retort in there, put the water in. Maybe a bit of salt if it is an older FRH that might need a little kickstart. And then stick it in here. So I will keep that off to the side. The tear notch is actually a little bit low on this drink powder pouch, so I'm going to cut it right underneath the seal. putting all of my trash into the ration bag. I mix these drink powders first because they take so long to dissolve. I'm not a big fan of these red ones, but of course I will drink it. It will get another stir in a bit. Spicy tuna rolls is here. That is what the French vanilla cappuccino looks like. Now I'm going to take this into the kitchen, put it in the pot. And what I might also do is warm up this cinnamon bun. It is a very good warmed up. And I'll just put these back here for the moment. Then I will come back with the water for my cappuccino. I am back. Got a multi-magnum in the house, thanks for dropping in. Halal beef roast with vegetables. In these Halal MRE accessory packs, you get the spoon inside of the accessory pack. You get a napkin, which you do not get in the standard MRE. You get 2 packets of sugar, but yet nothing to put the sugar in. And instead of matches by D.D. Bean and Sons, Atlas match. So it's white. These happen to be black with white tips, although I have absolutely no idea what the tip color means. You get the standard, you get the fresh snap, as opposed to the one that says moist towelette in here. You get salt and pepper. Pepper should be in every US MRE. You get the standard rear roll. And no gum. But all of these things will get saved, added to my stash. My crusher is here. Got your new mug. I'm going to go ahead and start opening everything else up. I had to push a piece of one of the bits in here down. The tear notch is right here. I'll go ahead and use it since there's not a whole lot in this bag. Actually, this one's like crooked, so yeah, heck with it. That is a fruit and nut mix. There's raisins, papaya, that's a very dark banana chip. There's all the raisin bits out. I'm just going to look at the chat. When you're referring to the sauce, is that the hot diggity dog? I saved every one of those little bottles that I ever got out of an ORP. I've yet to crack a single one. Because I like to taste a new ration entree as is for the first time without adding anything to it. Then if I ever get it again, then I might play with it. Now, there's a lighter color piece of banana chip there. I'm giving my tropical punch another mix. Have a good night, Mike. Thanks for dropping in. And again, thanks for the new mug. I certainly appreciate it. That mug was in that mystery box that he packed for me, and that included those limited edition run of the cup noodles, the Nissan cup noodles. Last night, Smokey tried the pumpkin pie flavored one. He's not a pumpkin fan, or at least not a pumpkin pie fan or pumpkin in general. I thought it was, it's definitely different. And I, for one, would actually buy that again. But the turkey dinner flavor, I would love to see that one around all year. Because that is a good one. Now I'm going to go get my entree and the dessert, and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back with the main. I use this dome lid from my regular cookware set. And I have a paper towel to dry everything off. Tear notch goes across this way, so I like to shake it. Clean tear, I like that. I forgot that this was a larger piece of meat instead of just a bunch of little pieces. That's how long it's been since I've had this menu. Got some of that gravy in where I want to put my apple turnover or cinnamon bun. That is the cinnamon bun out. Sorry, that noise was that lid falling down from where I'd put it. So this is a pretty decent sized chunk of beef that appears to have been somewhat processed. Very easy to cut into with the spoon into my spork. And it has more of a meatloaf texture than your typical piece of roast beef. There's diced potatoes, bits of carrot, that was a bit of mushroom. There is a piece of the carrot. A lot softer than the mushroom. But I still enjoy this entree. That's okay. There's not a whole lot of chat going on. I'm only showing 4 watching. But that's okay. There is a better look at the cross section of the meat. You can definitely tell that it is pretty heavily processed. But it still has a good beef flavor. It would have been nice to have more veggies in it, maybe a wider variety of veggies in it. I think Sapaco could do that. You know, increase the variety of veggies in it. But, you know, this is still good old-fashioned bit of comfort food. That's okay, John. You know, when someone has to dip out, I'm okay with that. But at least you got to see what it all looks like before it goes down my belly. It looks like the only nuts in here besides the almond I think that's it, just almond. is the only nut that's in here. The rest is the fruit. I'm not even seeing any peanuts. See how this almond is by itself. Not roasted, not salted, just raw. But a decent almond. To Carlos Perry in the house, thanks for dropping in. 2021 pack. Halal beef roast with vegetables. A few almonds in here. The rest is the bananas, the papaya, and the raisins. Not even any peanuts. But this is I'm scraping some of the gravy off. It looks like this was baked. See some of the different coloring in the meat where it may have hit more of the heat source than in other parts, but it has a meatloaf texture. But it's still not bad. This is a good entree. I just think it would be nice to have a wider variety of veggies in here. So in my new Mike Crusher mug, I have the French Vanilla Cappuccino, which came to me in a recent mystery box I got. No drink option, no hot drink option in these Halal MREs. This is a cinnamon bun, and you can see a lot of dark bits from the filling seeping through to the bread. Those raisins taste like they still got a little bit of life left in them. That's a can do. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, Mike Crusher was just in here, but he had to dip out. It was his bedtime. Guess he's got to get up with the crows in the morning. This Halal emery came from a lot that I had bought either late last year or early this year. I figured since I had a chicken entree last time, thought, you know what? I'll look what I got. And the first thing I pulled out was the Halal emery with the beef. This also has mushrooms in it. The mushrooms are firmer than the carrot bits. I'm still, I suppose, until someone comes up with an answer to this, why the halal certified US MREs are so snack heavy. But it's nice to see an actual dessert, the cinnamon bun. And why there is no hot drink option, whether it be coffee, cocoa mix, or tea. If they bring back the apple cider mix and the instant tea, that would be sweet. And these almonds, if these were roasted and at least a little salted, these would be even better. But other than that, this mix is still pretty darn good. Now the raisins in this mix have something extra added to them. I'm going to put up a few of the ones that were just packed alone. So it could be the sugar coating that may have been on the papaya. You can see that color difference. So these raisins have taken on some of the flavors that are in here, whereas these are actually a little bit moister, and they're just a straight up raisin flavor. I'm going to go ahead and break open this cinnamon bun. Really thin line of filling, and then you can see where some of it has started to kind of permeate up to the bread. So that is the bottom, and that's the top. There is definitely cinnamon in there. So I like that it has a lot of that flavor. I'm going to have another bite of this. It would have been nice to have a slightly bigger piece of the meat, but this will definitely give you the protein. Well, so will the almonds. Tim Riley in the house. 2021 pack. I got the French vanilla cappuccino in my new Mike Crusher mug. My Crusher was in here for a few. And Multi Magnum was just in here for a few. So they both had to dip out, but they got to see my tray before I started digging into it. Or before I started take a few bites. Yeah, that's okay. I probably didn't see any comments when I was away from my my table or not looking at my tablet screen. Some of these banana chip pieces have taken on a bit of darkness from the other stuff that's in here. There's one that is almost a natural color. Oh, I know there's some coconut in here. These dark, thin pieces that look like maybe a nut layer is actually coconut. It may have been toasted a bit to give it that color, in addition to taking on some of the color from the almonds, raisins, and the dark papaya. Last Sunday, I did the winner of the poll that I had put up, the LRP with the spicy Oriental chicken. I bought that along with that seafood chowder MCW from Sean Hack. The only two things that didn't survive out of that one, the coffee packet was Diario, Diario. That's a brand I had not seen before. That one looked like it had been exposed to something and it compromised the coffee inside. And then the ice cream sandwich, the freeze-dried ice cream sandwich, which was a round one, instead of the oblong ones that Mountain House produces today. That cookies and cream one, the outside, the brown cookie part, that tasted perfect, but the inside, it had no flavor. It just tasted like, it felt like I was eating a piece of foam insulation, and it smelled really strange. Not like a freshly made freeze-dried ice cream sandwich. So that one didn't make it. But everything else, the fig bar survived a lot better than I thought it would. It was not rancid at all. It was a bit dry. But other than that, I enjoyed every bit of that fig bar. And of course, the main was perfect. And even without that ice cream sandwich, that was a filling meal. Yeah, this definitely has the texture of meatloaf. But it still tastes good. There's bits of mushroom in here, a few bits of carrot, but the mushroom bits are firmer than the carrot bits. Those are the only veggies that are in here. Bits of carrot and the potato plus mushroom. And a decent beef gravy. Almost like a beef stew, but with one big piece of meat instead of smaller bite-sized pieces. And minus a few other beef stew veggies. But for the soldier in the field who was given this one, if this is still in the current Halal MRE lineup, it's definitely comfort food. I think 22 might be the latest Halal Emery I have had. I would love to get a case of 24s, a 24 pack, but I have yet to find one. Of course, there may be sites that I'm not even aware of, or sellers that I'm not aware of that may have more recent halal MREs. I took a sip of the coffee right after taking a bite of the cinnamon bun. And that coffee kind of wakes up that flavor a little bit more, plus it counters the dryness of the bread. But if you really warm these up, that probably allows the filling to permeate the bread even more. Gonna have another handful of this mix. I'm up to 6 watching, so that's good. Obviously, I'm not getting all the view counts that I was when I was getting all those trolls, but I'd rather have real viewers instead of trolls and bots. So maybe there's been more of a crackdown on these fake accounts, which is good because we don't need that nonsense. Now, if they can just get rid of the purely AI ones, now that I've watched a few of them to get an idea of what all their stuff is like, and it's pretty much they use the same sources for stock video clips and still shots. Who knows where they get all those? Kind of makes me wonder if they steal some of that. But I've seen enough of those. And I've seen enough of the channel titles to know that they're AI. I don't need to see any more of that. There are also channels that are getting auto-dubbed. I've listened to a few of those dubs, and they are horrible. Nope, I think all those trolls have probably harassed too many people and they got booted. Plus, all of the mods in here will give them the shove off. So that's why I got so many in here that I've modified. So the blue wrench means that viewer has been modified. And now I just did it again. I see someone in the chat long enough, or I see them in other chats, I know they're trustworthy, so that person gets modified. And for those that may not be aware, YouTube now has 2 levels of mods. There is a standard moderator, and then there is the managing moderator. The managing moderator has more access to the channel. For instance, you could have 2 or more people contribute content to the channel, including uploading videos, live streaming, and things of that nature, adding additional standard moderators, but only the channel owner can decide who can be managing mod. But I just keep it simple. There was another channel that had inadvertently added someone as a moderator, but a managing mod, but that person put up some inappropriate stuff and had to get kicked. That's a bummer when you trust someone, but then that person turns on you. Yep, I've even sent a few nutheads packing myself. I've gotten a couple more views on my video where I reviewed those limited edition Nissan cup noodles that I got in that box from my crusher. Then I also tagged Paul's Gear Review because what he did was he did 2 what do you call it, budget-friendly, shelf-stable versions of a Thanksgiving or holiday-type meal. And in one of those, he used a ramen, but he used a chicken ramen. But he had just a couple other things that he either bought or he had in his pantry, and then he got one of those Hormel completes, the chicken with potatoes and gravy, I used to eat a lot more of those, but I haven't gotten too many of those in the past several years. But I figured since I had these two Thanksgiving themed cup noodles, I figured I'd go ahead and tag him. And in the description, I called it a video response to his two videos about budget friendly holiday type meals that he put together from stuff he had in his pantry or that he had bought specifically for those videos. Waffles in the house. Thanks for dropping in. This is a 2021 pack. And thanks for dropping in. Hope to see you another time. You can always watch the replay later on when you got the time if you feel like it. He's the one who sent me 2024 pack case B US MREs. I still have a few of those left. And later on, Amazon had a sale on 22 pack case A's, so I got that. I still have a few of those left. I got a couple of Canadian IMPs. Got a couple more Halal MREs. Plus the seafood chowder MCW. And Sunday, January 11th, happens to be my birthday, so I think I'm going to come up with something different. I'm going to do a ration mashup. I haven't done any of those for a few years. But basically what I did was I combined loose components from several different US and foreign rations to make up a bunch of meals. So with that mystery box that I got from my crusher, plus one that I got off of eBay, plus all the stuff that I've had previously, I can do a few of those. So I think on my birthday, I'll be turning 60. I'm going to do a ration mashup. I got some interesting things that I would love to show on camera, and I've been waiting for just the right time to do it. And I think that will be the day. Putting some of these raisins in with that other mix. In fact, I think I'm just going to push all these bits into here. Just for the heck of it. There's a little bit of film on top that I had picked up. But I'm okay with that because there's flavor in that. I like the combination of the French vanilla cappuccino and the cinnamon bun. I will definitely next year look for more recent Halal MREs. On one site, I had seen some of the La Brie kosher certified rations. I would like to try some more of those. The ones that I've tried, both the ones with meat and the vegetarian, I thought those entrees are pretty decent. La Brie replaced My Own Meals. I did like some of those. The one case that CT had sent me did not have the variety that I hoped it would. It had quite a few repeats. That was a few years ago when I got that case from him. But you can still find a few of those on eBay. Either as the complete ration with the entree and the accessory kit bag, or just the entree alone. Some of those are kosher certified only. Some of those are kosher and halal certified. Some have meat, some are vegetarian. But you get some different entrees than you would with the standard US MREs. But the accessory packs on all of those, both mild meals and La Brioute, are pretty much the same. Although the packaging for the La Brioute ones is a lot better than the packaging for the different snack items in the mild meals accessory bags. So they would last a bit longer than the mild meals ones. The tropical punch kind of ruins the flavor of the cinnamon bun, but I figured I don't have a whole lot of the coffee left, so I'll save some of it for dipping bites of the cinnamon bun. Yeah, I decided on the French vanilla cappuccino. Oh, the other one I could have pulled out was the Irish cream cappuccino. That may make an appearance in the next few weeks. It could come out with one of my other regular US MREs that don't have coffee in it. I know the MCW will have coffee in it. And I know it'll be a good coffee because it'll have Bill's Brew. Not that Bill's Brew is my favorite ration coffee, but it won't be one of those that's already gone to crap before I even get to open it. And of course, I still have more of that Nescafe 3-in-1 coffee that I picked up from Halal Groceries. I also have a variety of cocoa mixes in my stash. I have a variety of tea bags in my stash from different rations. So those are all options as well. So I have a Ziploc bag full of ration seasonings These two will go in there. I usually separate these. So I will separate the salt and pepper like that. Then I have my, I call my brew bag. These two sugar packets go in there, but these are not perforated, so I cut these apart. But this king sugar will go in there. This comes from Bremen, Georgia. The salt and pepper, they come from the same source, Bremen, Georgia. So WNA is the company that does these for the Halal MREs. Or at least they did up through the packing of this one. But again, those will be saved. The FRH will go into a bag full of them that I have. The wet wipe goes into a bag full of those, and then I have gallon Ziploc bags full of the spoons, and then forks and sporks. I have another one for those. If I get plastic knives, I bag those as well. And those are saved for when I have to severely restrict my water use. And even this chintzy little napkin, I put that in a bag. Same with the matches. That makes up part of my emergency supplies. That way I have them if I need them. So should stuff hit the fan, I'm better prepared. And this coming Wednesday, I will be attending my last Transit Rider Advisory Committee meeting as a member. And so anything that comes in the box lunch that we get that is not used, usually it's a sandwich, maybe a bag of chips, or it could be a little cup of like a pasta salad, macaroni, potato salad, or something like that, or a bag of chips, or maybe a little fruit and a cookie or a brownie, depending on what restaurant they come from. And there's usually a mustard and mayo packet inside of there. I do not use those. I bring them home. Any plastic utensils that I do not use, I bring them home. And then they have always put some candy. Most of the time it's been the Lifesavers, either the peppermint or the wintergreen ones. Occasionally, a couple of times, it was those tiny little 4-count Tic Tac packets like you'd get in the IMPs, or at least pre-23 or pre-24. They have since changed to one single mint. I have yet to get one of those newer IMPs that have that. But I save all those because those are the types of hard candies that I like to store for long term. So those 3 little lifesavers that get put at my seat, and they come home with me. And then I put those in a bag. Earlier, in a previous shopping haul, I showed that big container of Tic Tacs. I have already stashed those away. So I will not be eating those anytime soon. Those are for long-term storage. Burger Butt, most likely just Dave in the house. Thanks for dropping in. 2021 pack. Nothing on that side. My crusher was here earlier. This is his new mug that I got to replace the one that broke. I'm still looking to replace my foreign MRE mug, but I have not yet been able to find one of those that, someone may be willing to sell. I mean, it's still in one piece except for the handle got busted off, but it got cracked, so it can no longer hold a liquid. So it just sits on my kitchen counter. It cannot hang on my mug rack anymore. And also Multi-Magnum. John was here, but he had to dip out. Waffles was here for a bit. But the entree, for those that have not seen it in a while, it is one big piece of meat. It has a texture and consistency of a meatloaf, but without all of the extra meatloaf type ingredients. It had a few bits of mushroom, a few bits of carrot, which were very soft, softer than the mushroom, and diced potato. That was it as far as veggies and anything else, but in a beef stew style gravy. The fruit nut mix, the only nut in here was almonds. The rest was banana chips, papaya, coated raisins with something on it, and some coconut flake, toasted coconut flake. The almonds were not toasted, not roasted or salted. And then it was just straight up raisins. This is tropical punch. That's a French vanilla cappuccino that came out of a recent mystery box. This is a cinnamon bun. These are really good warmed up. But obviously this has lost its heat by now. But it's been a while since I had this menu, so I'm glad to have it again. The 3 lamb menus are my favorites because I love lamb. I will probably get lamb in the next week or so when I go to Gersha for lunch. I don't get it there very often. I save it more as a special treat when I do that. They also serve goat meat. I'll get that as a special treat once in a while. But it's usually beef or chicken, being that is a halal restaurant, they don't serve pork. But the location where it sits, it's a great spot for it because it is near a variety of businesses. It is near the Drake University campus. There are apartments and homes in the area. So it is in a good spot. And because it is co-owned by one of the guys who is a co-owner of Halal Groceries, which is only a couple blocks away, they are trading back and forth between them in that Gersha makes all of the injera, which is an Ethiopian spongy type bread made out of a flour from a grain called teff. And then Gersha gets the halal meats and other ingredients from Halal Groceries. So they're going back and forth like that. And during Ramadan, and maybe a couple other times for special events, Gersha will cater some of the meals, some of the dinners. And then there's a halal food truck owner who will also either serve at events or during Ramadan. In fact, I invited them to be one of the vendors at the White Eagle Powwow in September, but I did not see him there. So I don't know if something came up, he couldn't do it, but hopefully he will, because he did like the idea of setting up there. But my oldest sister had food from that food truck a couple of times because they had gone to the school that she has been teaching at since August of 1984, plus an event where special ed students were taken to, and she was one of the chaperones, and they set up at that event location. So my sister has had their food and she really enjoyed it. They travel to different parts of the city. It's Kamal's Mediterranean Grill. It's a bright green food truck. So locals can follow that food truck on Facebook and see where they're posting up. Unfortunately, it's not at locations that I frequent, so I don't get to have that food too often. But when I do, I'm a happy camper. But this coming week, I will be doing my personal grocery shopping at Halal, or some of it anyway. I refer to it as personal because I'm in Halal once a week because I'm going in there to talk to the staff about what is needed for the mosque for the lunch that we serve after the Friday prayer. So I will be doing that again, except Thursday the 24th, the 25th, some holiday is going to be interfering with my fun. So I will have to go in there early Wednesday the 24th. We'll figure out when I will go hang out at my oldest sister's house. Yeah. Even though I am a Muslim and I do not celebrate Christmas, and they are my family, I gotta go hang with them. And I usually take some of the food that we have. It's snacks. There's no Christmas dinner, so to speak, with my family. It's snacks on the 24th. And it's something that is all I remember, as a kid. I don't know how popular that is to just have snacks like meat sticks, summer sausage, different kinds of cheeses, different kinds of crackers, raw veggies, pickles, olives, maybe some kind of a party mix or snack mix, and then one called puppy chow. With rice cereal as a base, and then that is dipped in or coated with chocolate, and then those pieces are then coated in powdered sugar. You can find recipes for the puppy chow online, and some stores even sell it. I've seen it there. But the homemade version is always best. And of course, cookies, brownies, things of that nature. That is what I grew up with. That's all I know. And I contribute to that tradition. My oldest sister likes to make bacon wrapped water chestnuts and bacon wrapped little smokies. And then I supply her with the beef bacon. So she uses a pack of that to do some of those. And those are the ones that I eat, and others can eat them too. And then she uses regular pork bacon for the rest. And then those are put into barbecue sauce and heated up that way. I still have a pack of beef bacon in my freezer, but I'm going to get extra. That is, I always take that when we go to the lake. Like I carry it every summer. And then I either take the halal beef breakfast sausage patties or the links, and usually a pack of hot dogs. The beef hot dogs, as that's a backup plan in case there's not enough of what my sisters bring. Because I'd rather, yeah, you know how we are when it comes to packing food for camp. We always pack a whole lot more than we actually eat. Because that's just what we do. I'm dipping that last little bite. Oh yeah, that definitely wakes up that cinnamon in that cinnamon bun. I'm just going to go ahead and tuck this inside of the bag since that's pretty much it. So, like I said earlier, anything that I don't use gets stashed away for long-term storage for emergency use. That way I have it in case I have to get into that stash. Yeah, yesterday we got a couple inches of new snow, and then we got sleet on top of that. So that was a bit of a mess. Early this morning I heard our snow removal guy come blade the driveway as best he can. And then someone took care of the sidewalk. They run the snow blower, run a blade over it. But a lot of ice melt needs to be put down. It got up to I think 19 degrees Fahrenheit here, but that was earlier in the day, and then the temp started going down. So we're going to have another little cold snap. I'm trying to load the weather on my what I call my backup phone, but it won't let me clear the ad. There you go, 7 degrees Fahrenheit. And it feels like our wind chill is 2 degrees, no minus there. So there is our high, 19 degrees. And if this holds true, our current temperature may be the low, and it goes up from there. We'll see how well that holds up. Well, fishy, because you're in hot water there. Last Thursday, it was like minus 11 or something. I don't know what the actual low was. We probably, some places in Iowa busted the record low for that date. So I had to go out. I had long johns on underneath my pants. And then I wore a long sleeve, thicker t-shirt under a long dress that is known as an abaya. So I was layered up. And then I wore my last clean pair of wool socks in my boots. And then Friday I wore my heat locker socks. Those are the lightweight ones. So I need to hand wash all my wool socks. But I have other thicker socks that I'll wear, and my due north ice cleats are still on my boots. I never take them off unless I have to change one of the spikes. But I got places to go this week, so I gotta go out. I got stuff to do. Back earlier, as I was setting up for the stream, an Amazon driver came, and because I had live tracking, I knew when he was due to be in the parking lot. So I went down to the door that is specified in my delivery instructions for the driver to come to. So he got out of the truck, and I told him it's pretty slick to be careful. And that guy said he already fell once, and so I told him about having the cleats on the shoes. But he fell making another drop instead of when bringing in the 2 boxes that he had for me. And one of them was big, so he carried him up the steps and just put him outside my door. Of course, I held the hallway door open. But yeah, he said he lost it one time. earlier in the day when making one of his drops. So I told him to get some cleats for his shoes. So maybe he will take my advice and do that. But some of the items are Amazon Subscribe and Save, and others are just a one-time purchase. So those will be shown in my December shopping haul. I'll get that all together when I'm done with my shopping for the month. I don't, I try to get it all done at least within the first 10 days of the month. I get my trips done. I don't do it every week like some people do, or every 2 weeks. I get it done early. That way I don't have to deal with it anymore. Plus, I am picking up stuff for the mosque. I already picked up some stuff and delivered it because those things are needed. So I may mention those in that video as well, or I may not. But I picked up a couple items, a box of trash bags, and a box of gallon Ziploc bags. We are already stocking up for Ramadan. In fact, last Friday, a bunch of supplies came in that some people had donated, and they're all be taken up to our backup storage. So one of the items that I will show in my shopping haul will go up there. And of course the rest is purely mine. But the sooner we can get all that stuff together, the better. That way we are better prepared there. It's just like prepping at home. You get all your stuff together before you need it. That way you're not scrambling to try to find it when you do need it. So that's what we are trying to do. Sometimes it's hard to get it through their heads that we got to have this stuff done early. Some of them are getting it, some not, but I'm going to keep trying. Since that is my role, there is helping to manage the supplies as well as manage the kitchen. So if we can get the mosque all prepped up for Ramadan, plus other events, then those would run a lot smoother. One thing I don't like about these red drinks is you got that red residue that's left behind. It washes out, but it just looks weird when you have that residue behind in a clear glass, or in my case, drinking jar. Again, thanks to my crusher for sending out his newer style mug with the yellow inside. Makes showing the contents a lot easier than the black, but I did like the black one. And again, thanks to him for the mystery box that that mug was in, along with the other goodies. I need to get on Germs's merch store. I want to get one of his mugs because I think they're cool. I think that would be a good one to have in rotation. But I still want to replace my foreign MRE mug. That was the first, I'll call it a channel mug that I got. I have the one that I won from Just in Time Prepping, the one that changes color, or you put a hot liquid in it and it reveals the design. But he has since passed away a few years ago. I have two of his leather pieces that he made. I won one, and then I paid him to make the other for a bushcraft knife that I bought off of another YouTuber through a small business site that he was selling his knives through. So I had Will make a sheath for that particular knife. Then I won a mug from Alaska Prepper that is taller than this. I think it holds 12, maybe 14 ounces. I don't know. I would have to measure it, because I can max this out at about 13 ounces if I'm going pretty much to the rim. But that one is like 12 at least. I have not used that for anything. I might just on a whim use that for a hot drink. Yeah, it's I mean, my last check was 7. Yeah, it's going to be a bit on the chilly side tonight, but at least there's no minus. So I'm happy about that. But at least we are not in the areas that really got dumped on. In northern Iowa, they got probably double the snow we got here, if not more. And up in Minnesota and Michigan, places like that, some places up there got over a foot from this last round. But we can't let that stop us from having our fun. That's my heater kicking in. It's the same unit as in the warmer months. It kicks out the cool air. This one does both. So that is the remote for it. Yeah, I got it set at 64. That's all it's set to. So here it's set on heat. On this side, it's set on high because it's got to blow towards the bedroom. That's it. It comes on for a few minutes and it goes off for a while, and then it'll just cycle on and off like that. Yeah, big difference in the snow. And of course, we've got sleet on top of that. So who knows? I may yet do that thing that I've been wanting to do for a while. I still have that container of accent, which is nothing more than MSG, monosodium glutamate. I brought that home from the mosque because there are a lot of people who are sensitive to that stuff and can't eat it. So I brought it home, but instead of using it as a seasoning or ingredient myself, I went to experiment with using it as an ice melter and see how well that works. So I may actually try that. It's one of those taller containers like you would get from like Walmart has, or Costco or Sam's Club might have that taller container. Probably about up to here on, be about that tall, something like that. Yeah, I'm thinking about putting some of that down because there's some spots just right outside the building in the parking lot that are just super slick. It'd be worth experimenting. Have been a couple of times where I had just some regular old salt, table salt, and put that down on the steps. Or right in front of the steps. It would be interesting to try that. So whether I get to it tomorrow, who knows? But the way these temps are going to be for a while, that snow and ice is going to be sticking around for a while. But that's not going to stop me from doing what I got to do. Let's see, next week I could either get into one of the 2022 pack or 24 pack MREs that I have, or I could pull out one of the two remaining IMPs that I have. Those are either 21 or 22 pack. I think I'm going to save the seafood chowder MCW for sometime in January. You kind of spread that out a little bit. And I bought that from Sean Hack, along with the LRP that I did last Sunday. I saved that Tabasco sauce packet that was in there, that really long one. That's the first time I'd seen a long Tabasco sauce packet like that in an American ration, or any for that matter. So I thought that was pretty cool. I want to hold on to that. So I will be thinking about what I'm going to do for next Sunday. I would love to get some more foreign rations in, but I was looking at what a guy had, but the one menu I've had already, and another one that he had as far as Spanish, he dug up some dirt on that one, and the main entree contains pork, so nope. I'll have to take a pass on that one. And then some of the others are a bit out of my price range right now, but who knows, maybe he'll still have them when I get my money for January. I hope to get some more foreign rations. The guy's in the US, so I don't have to worry about things being raided. Just have to worry about USPS kicking them around. But there may be other options that I could find. Who knows? But I will keep in contact with that guy who has those Spanish rations. As a breakfast, those are usually really basic. But you get the extra goodies in the breakfast Spanish ration than you do with the lunch and dinner ones. You get the toothbrush, in the breakfast ration. Sometimes you get a coffee, sometimes not. Sometimes it's just a big old pack of biscuits and maybe a little container of some kind of a jam. But I'll still keep looking. I've seen another video on the C car, which is apparently going to be the replacement for the first strike ration. Close combat assault ration is what C car stands for. But I've seen reviews of those. And there's not much menu variety in those yet, so I'm hoping that will change. Kind of the same with the HDR and SDR, Survivor Daily Ration. There's not much menu variety in those. But there's some unusual things in a couple of those C cars that actually wouldn't mind checking out for myself. But apparently, not too many of those hit the market, and they're hard to find right now. So that will be something I'll probably be looking for sometime next year. And again, with all the loose stuff I have, I could throw together some ration mashups. So I'll probably mix some of those in next year too. I think for tonight, I've eaten everything that I planned on. All the rest of these items that did not get eaten tonight, like I'm just not going to open up a pack of sugar and eat it. That just doesn't make sense to me. But they will get stashed away. I thought about sending a bunch of coffees, creamers, and sugars to Smokey, but he got hooked up. From a guy who has sent him packages of stuff before, so he's good on the coffee related stuff for a while. But who knows, maybe I'll just find some different things. I still want to get a bag of G7 Insta Coffee. I could send him a couple of those for him to try, because I don't think he's tried it. Now, I do need to get a bag of that. But I think for tonight, I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. I hope y'all enjoyed checking out this halal beef roast with vegetables. I do recommend this one. If you want something that's just basic comfort food, yeah, I recommend that menu. Anyway, thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.